Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a great show lined up. But first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. How about some cooler weather? We're getting it now. High today is only going to get 60, barely 60, and low tonight 38. Now, don't you love it? I want to hear those songs all the way to Panhandle. Throw another log on the fire, because we're going to have some fires tonight, next couple of nights, and finally we get some cool weather. We all, if you're excited as I am about it, Jeff's all excited about it, we all happy. Well, just something simple like cold weather. Water temperature is at 63.5. River readings brought to us by, we talk about this every morning though. All right, that place go to Bluntstown is 21 foot and falling, and by the weekend now, it's going to sort of level off around 18 foot, but that's still really, really high. And it's been that way. Choctawhatchee, Caryville, 12 and a half and falling, and by the weekend, it looks like it's going to sort of level off around 10 foot and continue falling. But it's again, we might have a little bit of rain this weekend. This week, all week, this is a hump day, of course, but it's been a good week so far. The next couple of days looks really good and maybe dry out a little bit, so that's a good sign. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Today is January the 9th. Pretty decent tides. They're sort of waning a little bit if you're going on into the weekend. Not quite as strong, but it's still going to be a fair tide. The low is 8:43 this morning. The high is at 10:28 tonight. And the tide coming in Saturday looks pretty weak right there, but the outgoing tide is going to be strong. And you just have different variables on your tides. These winter tides, with that north wind, low tide, we talk about it every year. It can really be a strong situation, but then it turns around when it's coming back in. You saw the picture I showed yesterday, that really nice redfish caught on a strong incoming tide. So just be aware of that for winter fishing, all right? Let's go ahead and our marine forecast. I don't have it. I'm going to look it up and give it to you when we get back, so we'll be right back. Welcome back, and the wind is going to be coming out of the north at about 9 to 10 today, so be aware of that. Now, I just got off the phone right before the show, called Sea Quarters Marina. They're one of our big, partners in Panhandle Outdoors on our far eastern end down there, and I was hoping they didn't get hit that hard. I talked to them earlier, and they did lose. They lost all their docks. They lost one of the diesel pumps and all, but they opened back up pretty soon after the storm, and they're open. And I'm gonna call them and get a live report in a couple of days when Captain Kim is back. She wasn't working this morning, but Gary Beebe and all those guys, they're still hanging around down there. They're always doing something down there. But they're the same thing we have. They're inundated with fresh water. So that's the situation there. It's all throughout the Panhandle, and they just nobody's getting to catch anything down there right now. All right, let's take a look at this. This is right next door, the Alabama Wildlife and Freshwater Fisheries Division. This is interesting. This was shared to a lot of people. Now, this is important because it does have something to do with us. There's currently no available hunting land in the Delta due to flood water. You must have at least 40 contiguous acres to hunt there, and it is not legal to attempt to hunt animals on the little land they have available. There's nothing that is legal to hunt within the Delta and the upper Delta. The high ground around the shooting range is still open for hunting. There's still a small amount that is dry in the lower Delta. It is up to the hunter to verify that he or she has 40 acres of dry land to legally hunt. And this was on Monday. Now, I want to go and show you some pictures. They're all, again, everything is flooded everywhere. This is over in right on lower end Alabama there, and you can see with just a couple of pictures here. Here's what happens. And I'm going to draw a parallel between here and our Apalachicola River system. The animals, they're struggling too. They don't have but one place to go, and to try to find some high land. So, and I'm going to show you, and these are going to be all over the place. If you're going out the river this weekend, I don't care what river you're on, you better be aware of these cottonmouths. And they're all over the place. You can tell that's just good creek river water. And also, you don't be looking just straight ahead in the water. Always got to look up at the limbs, because they'll flat sure get up in there when they ain't got nowhere else to get. So be aware of that. Now let me speak to this for a second, and why they. I commend them on that move, and we really need to do that here. I'll tell you why. Because what happens, we get this much water we talked about, and everything floods. So that leaves a few pockets of a little island here, a little island there, and that's where all the game is going to go for survival. Now, here's what happened during hunting season, and I didn't realize it happened over there much because I don't hunt that area, but I know over here, so year after year, you have two kind of outdoorsmen when it comes to hunting. You have hunters and you have killers. Okay, hunters are most of us, and then you have this small segment of killers. They can't wait till the island, till the floods in the island. They're going to run there and shoot everything on the island. I mean, and brag about it. Put 15 hogs on the boat, 27 deer, and all kind of stuff like that. That makes me sick to my stomach when I see that, because you're not an outdoorsman if you do that. So. Now I commend the Alabama Game and Fish because they were doing that over there, and everybody knows as a sportsman, that's not fair, that's not right, and those game, those wild hogs, those deer, those raccoons, those squirrels, they all, it's not fair to just slaughter them in a situation like that. And I hear from my fellow hunters over here around Weewall and the lower end of the river, even up on the upper end, the people hunting these islands, and it makes our hunters, it makes all of us mad and sick and just disgusted us to see that happen. So I wish maybe our FWC will look at this in a situation like this when it stays at 18 to 20 foot for 3 or 4 days and on in a couple of weeks, that maybe we'll look at adapting something like this. I know it'll make some of y'all mad, but that's just flat out the way I feel about it, and that's the right thing to do. And even dog hunters, they'll run them and all. They don't like it for that to happen either. I mean, so they're restricted because they can't get into areas and all. Their dogs have to go to certain areas. So if you got to shoot a deer on an island, then you're not much of a hunter. So I just wanted to pass that on to you. That's just how I feel about it. Okay. So anyway, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. For those of you who are familiar with fishing a lot around here out of the bay system, coming out of the bay, then going into the Gulf, we had our bait barge. So Charlie was one of the main bait guys, and I know a lot of times, most of the time, people just buy live bait from him. He was so good about catching live bait and all, and Charlie, when I went out with Captain Billy Archer on a Seminole Wind, we'd stop by there and get our bait. They just dip up all kind of live bait, and it just made fishing a lot more memorable because you didn't have to go worry about catching live bait. You could buy it from Charlie. And when Charlie lost his barge and all, so they started, some captains got together, Jason Shingle and some of those others, and started a GoFundMe to help him get his barge back, because that's what he did for a living. So if you want to go to a GoFundMe, it's on here. Let's see, Charlie, it's a GoFundMe account, and there's a picture of his barge and all. And but be aware of that, okay? Now, also, another thing I want to get to, if I can get to it now, I'm going to read you. I don't like to stare at this and not look at you, but this, on occasion, I just have to get this right, because they're going over in Choctawhatchee Bay, and we have a situation, and it happens all over the system as far as hunting and all. And it's for duck hunters, and Deer Point Lake, or Apalachicola Bay, Choctawhatchee Bay. What happens a lot of times, years ago, it was all open. Everybody could go ahead and just and hunt it. But now, a lot of houses have been built on it. It's not. You sort of get a little conflict, and that's sort of happening all over the place. And what had happened over in Choctawhatchee Bay, every duck hunter, okay. It talks about duck hunting in Choctawhatchee Bay, and basically, the article was in the Fort Walton Beach paper, and it talks about a duck hunter, and the guy, a local hunter, he's been hunting Choctawhatchee Bay a long time, so every duck season, I go out at Meggs Park, and they wade out there. Well, this lady that lives close by, named Kathy Heapy, she said every duck season, they set up their decoys and stand there for hours. We wake up to the sound of gunfire, and we call the cops, and they say as long as they're not shooting towards houses, they can do nothing about it. Okay, that's legal. And duck hunters, And then this other guy named Jim Tucker, he said, he said, I hear the duck hunters while I'm spending time on a boat in Santa Rosa Sound. And he said, he's an avid bird lover, and so am I, but I like to shoot ducks too. And he once got arrested for trying to save one of the peacocks. So this guy's one of those radicals. And I hear the hunters out here, and I see my ducks flying, and I feel really sorry for them, knowing somebody is out there waiting for them to land so they can shoot them. My duck population has dropped tremendously. It's just terrible what we do to our wildlife. I'm reading this to you so you understand what kind of fanatics are out there that we have to deal with. And then it talks about, the article is a long article, I'm just hitting highlights. FWC enforces regulations. It said waterfowl hunting is permitted on private property with landowner permission, and on any water body that has public access, and they're putting in a public access over there, and you know, and you can hunt in management areas, you can hunt ducks. Went on, she said, Heapy said the hunting behind her neighborhood has been an annual event for about 6 years now, a long time, and it has apparently eliminated or scared off the ducks that she and her other friends enjoy watching. She said one of her neighbors got out in a kayak this year and paddled out to convince the duck hunters to go somewhere else. Now you're out there duck hunting, and here comes this yahoo coming up in a kayak trying to scare off everything. That would bother me. She said the hunters called the Oak Louis County Sheriff's Office on her, and so the cops came out and told her she couldn't do that. That's harassing the hunters. And so it goes on and talks about it, and they have to remember duck hunting. Remember this now. This is what the hunter said. One of the main problems I have is when people who are against it or live on waterfront don't like it. They have to remember that duck hunting was going on way before their $1 million mansion was built there. So why are they against it? So I guess no longer crime. Now, I want to show this. Jeff, can we show this? The newspaper put in a poll, and the poll said, here, I voted on it. It said, do you think hunting should be allowed near waterfront homes? And 84% of people said yes, 12% said no, and 4% said who cares? Well, I was in the 84% because I voted on it also. So I just wanted to share that with you. That was a long article about that. I ran across it, and I thought, that's typical of what's going on. We as hunters and outdoorsmen, when we take responsibility of doing things the right way, certainly don't want to be shooting toward homes. But if you've been hunting the area a long time, and I used to Deer Point Lake hunt all the time, and I haven't in a long time, but it used to not be hardly any houses up there. But now I can still hear the hunters up there on Thanksgiving morning. I just get a kick out of it, and I know y'all live up there and all, so I know it aggravates some of y'all, but they have a right to do it, and it doesn't happen just during one small season of the year. So, and everybody has a right to do that. So keep that in mind, and also. I also go to dog hunters. Dog hunters have gotten so good now about collars and all, about trying to keep dogs in a wild, big, open space like that, not on people's property, and respect each other's property. I just wanted to share all of those things with you. Okay. Now another thing too, if we do have to stand up for our rights, and if we don't, and that poll I thought was really good. If we don't stand up for our rights, then it's not going to happen. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's look at our fishing game times today. We're looking at 2:19 to 4:19 this morning, and 2:41 to 4:41 this afternoon, brought to us by the good folks down at Blue Water Outriggers. So let's take a look. I got a lot of kind of talk about. Remember yesterday, I was telling y'all the last segment of the show, we did the interview with Colonel Gaston with the U.S. Army, and I was so impressed with him and all, and that's why we showed it again. A lot of folks commented on that. I mentioned, and I'm not kidding about this, have an opportunity to get your kids to share it with their teachers or show it to the class or something, especially that's just good stuff, and they can show something like that in class, and you don't have to necessarily DVR it or whatever. Jeff has it on YouTube, So you can go, now with technology is now, they in a classroom, they can go boom, 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 hit YouTube, and with Apple TV, they can show it to class. I know that's how we did it in outdoor ed, and so I'm going to get those classes up in Mosley. I know Mr. Revere down at Vernon, over at Vernon, he'll probably show some of that to some of those kids and all. It's a little 6-minute video, and it hits those three major things in our lives: our faith and family, and also the love of outdoors, and the patriotism that's shown for our country and all. That's three great things. So anyway, with that being said, let me see. I've talked so much I've lost our signal. The technology is challenging. Okay. Well, also I got a report from the pier. I wanted to show y'all the pier. One of the things we're not having trouble with. I talked to Carrie last night at the pier, and we used to do a pier on a regular basis, and talked to Carrie. He said, what's going on out at the pier? He said they're not catching a lot of fish. But first of all, went back to how much damage and all, what happened as far as the damage they had, and he said
I think they're already mirrored.
Is what?
It's already connected. There you go.
Okay. All right. So anyway. Here's a picture of the pier right here. He said, what happened during the storm, and this was interesting. I did not know this. They lost 43 panels. Now, when we say panels, if you could, this is sort of a little fuzzy, but each one of those little, you can't sort of see it, it's not detailed enough. But, they're about 12 foot, each panel, those wood panels, they're designed to pop out. And they actually lost 43 off the city pier, and lost 3 rails, they lost some rails and everything, and honestly, they didn't get pounded with that north wind as much as I thought they would, but they got enough water up there. They busted out those panels. They worked just like they're supposed to. They busted out, and Kara said by Friday, they had recovered all but 3 and had put them back in place. Isn't that fascinating? That was by Friday. He said the other 3, they had some in storage. They keep some extra at the plant, and they were able to bring those out. So, by the weekend, Panama City Beach Pier had been, weekend after storm, they were sort of in function. They didn't open it, of course, but they could function. Same way the county pier had about the same situation there. The guys at City Pier went and helped at the county pier. So that was interesting to see. But his report, basically, he was talking about fishing has been really poor out there. And he said it's just been one of those times. It's a combination. He said what really hurt them. So what really hurt them was the red tide. He said it really affected pier fishing, and back in the fall before the storm, and it's just sort of been a carryover from it. He thinks all that red tide and algae came out of that Lake Okeechobee and it washed up here by that first storm, and he had a good point there. And as far as now they're open now. Let's see here basically what they've catching. They're flounder, bluefish, and sheephead. And he said, like yesterday, when I talked to him, the total number of flounder we caught was 6. That's what all the fishermen. And, they have some, like I said, some die-hard fishermen out there who are really good. And they when they were coming off the dock yesterday, they told Carrie that they need to restock the pond. Because I thought that was a pretty good situation there. You restock the pond because it's just, he said, someone just shaking their head like a billy goat. They just, when they walk by his little office there, they're just shaking their head, and you know what that means. But the red tide just don't seem to want to go away. It's still out there a little bit. It's not showing up on the reports, I noticed. But that's basically what he was saying. There's 43 panels, but they got everything and the rails fixed up, so it's open, and everything's working good on that. So, all right, now let's go ahead and go to. I wanted to show you, I got a couple of other things here. Tomorrow's guests, now I've got some guests coming on tomorrow. The Florida Forest Service is coming on, 2 guys coming on. They're going to talk about how the hurricane affected everything, as far as the outdoors. We talked a lot about the water, but our forests have definitely been affected, and they're going to talk about what has happened to the forest here in the Panhandle, what they're doing now, and then what the future holds, and what we can do as outdoorsmen to help things out. And I know that a lot of people are hurting by it. Okay, let's see. I want to go ahead and I thought this picture here was good. Okay, for an additional $4.95, we will provide a receipt that matches what you told your spouse you paid. That's some good-looking guns, isn't it? Okay, I just thought y'all would appreciate that. We talked about this the other day. We didn't really, we got a minute to do this now. You're a Floridian, if you can pronounce. Here we go, top to bottom, left to right. Can y'all, let's see. Okeechobee, Kissimmee, Withlacoochee. And how about Weewaw-Hitchcock, Okefenokee, which is really in Georgia, top right-hand corner, Wauchula. Okay, and now it gets a little tough. That is Thonotosasa. And then the hardest one of all is a Chassahowitzki, okay? And then, of course, Choctawhatchee, and then Ocoee and Micanopy is not all that hard. But what about Teloja and Ocklawahnee? They're not on the list, but I started to think of some here in Panhandle. Teloja, Ocklawahnee. How about Slip and Slide? The Slip and Slide Landing. There's so many neat names of places here. And if you got some neat places, names of places y'all call, so these are creeks and all, it's amazing. A lot of these have Native American origins, and it's fascinating to see them and all. Okay, a couple of other things. I wanted to get into the nutrition level of, I don't have time, the nutrition level. Let's go and look at this now. Just touch base with our map and all. Of course, we're Zone D. And here's our dates and all. We're, of course, archery, gun season. I sort of have it underlined right there, over here on the left side. It's going all the way now to February the 17th. So we still have well over a month left of gun season. And then, of course, fall turkey is going to be ending this weekend. Fall turkey is ending. The squirrel, we got squirrel and quail, bobcat on March. And then don't forget, March the 9th and 10th will be spring turkey for the youth. That's not that far away, the first week of March, or March 9th and 10th. Gonna wrap it up. We had a lot of stuff to go over, and I got some more stuff, and we'll get everything squared away, and we're all working to do things better and get it all done quicker. So thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. You have a great day at work or school or whatever you're gonna do. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.